The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya. I request the protocol to escort His Excellency. Thank you.
Madam President, let me take this very early opportunity to congratulate you on your election to preside over the 73rd session of the General Assembly. I have no doubt that the experience from your distinguished career in the service of the Republic of Ecuador will be invaluable to you in your new responsibility. I also note with appreciation that your strategic priorities for the 73rd session, namely strengthening multilateralism, catalyzing the well-being of all persons, and a sustainable planet, as well as building a stronger, more efficient multilateral system, converges with Kenya's aspirations. It is my pleasure, therefore, to reaffirm my government's complete commitment to our shared vision and to support you during your tenure. The 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly is the second one to be held during the tenure of Secretary General Guterres, who has already spoken publicly about the financial situation of the United Nations and has even spelled out reforms that need to be executed to ensure optimal utilization of our finances. I applaud the Secretary General for his efforts and courage to cut costs and for his commitment to ensure that the UN's resources are better managed. Indeed, I am convinced that part of these objectives will be achieved with the adoption of the proposals made in regard to the adoption of the global service delivery model. In this regard, it is my hope that Kenya will have the privilege to host one of the proposed 3 such centers. I also applaud the commitment of the UN staff who are engaged daily in tackling a myriad of challenges that are greater than any one country or region can resolve on their own. Kenya strongly supports the General Assembly's embrace of better alignment in the mandates of urbanization, human settlement, and environmental governance. This will enable the UN Human Settlement Program and the UN Environmental Program to fully deliver on their role as a global focus point on human settlements and the environment matters across the United Nations system. Madam President, even as we speak of important reforms at the United Nations, we must also recognize that the need for reforms is much broader and of greater significance. In almost every part of the world, a growing lack of trust is opening a dangerous gap between citizens and their governing institutions. This is partly as a result of the impact of a number of significant factors. Key among them is the growing demand by all our citizenry for accountability, occasioned by the attendant awareness of the gap between available resources and the provision of services to the populations. These demands are also fueled by a growing awareness of the scourge of corruption and wastage of public resources and their negative effects on the lives and hopes of people. Never before in human history, due to the benefits of accessible information, have so many people known how public trust is undermined by acts of commission or omission by a few individuals and networks, both in private and public sector. Weak governance systems are manipulated and exploited for the gain of predatory interests at the expense of the common man. The free media and social media are rife with news of outright fraud, cynical conflicts of interests, financial arrangements that privatize gains during prosperous times, then socialize losses during economic catastrophe. Added to individual corruption, major corporations are misrepresenting their earnings to deny governments revenues needed for investment in public goods. The extraction of mineral and other resources continues to be subject to corrupt dealings that not only deny communities and countries any benefit, but almost routinely lead to violence and instability. These dealings have over several decades been clothed with the garments of legality, institutionalizing the exploitation by cartels and oligopolies that are pillaging Africa and other underdeveloped regions of their natural wealth. Hence the popular theorizing of Africa's resource curse. It has become clear to citizens all over the world that what is enabling the illegal and illicit conduct of corrupt individuals and companies is globalized financial and legal systems. Its impact is worldwide, but is probably the lead cause to most of the suffering on the African continent. There is increasing evidence that Africa is a net exporter of much-needed capital to the world through illicit outflows. Conservative estimates indicate that between 1980 and the year 2009, illicit money outflows from Africa ranged between $1.2 to $1.4 trillion, roughly equal to Africa's current GDP, and surpassing by far the money it received from outside over the same period.